Hi guys, my name is Susie and welcome back to Lightfall. I had a little mishap with my mic recording and it doesn't exist anymore. So this is just a little bit of a voiceover of the game, kind of to give a little bit of an explanation of what's going on and what all happened in terms of progress, at least. And because I don't know, it just seemed like it was needed in a way. It's just a small bit of discussion, but right now it looks like the evil guys, which I kind of forgot the name of, are draining energy from the above world, from Numbra. And it was very interesting, at least to me, but we're gonna go into a cutscene right now. But I don't know, I'll explain a little bit later.
The closer the boy got to Eternium's fortress, deep underground, the weaker the link uniting us became. I could still see through his eyes, but my words seemed unable to reach him. The situation looked grim for the Kamloops, but if there was one person who could save them, it was Nox.
Yeah, so this video is quite cut up and quite short in terms of, you know, what they normally are, because I kind of took out all the bits of me kind of failing just because there was no audio, or, you know, you wasn't really interesting to begin with. So everything is kind of just all in a row of all the solutions to all the puzzles and stuff like that. But I kind of felt that that was interesting. And those little scanner blocks were actually quite cool, because as long as you're in the box, it takes away your ability to form your little light thing. And here's the big generator that presumably was stealing kind of all the energy. And for a little while, I thought that these pathways were optional in terms of progress, but they are not. And they were quite hard to figure out, or to just kind of proceed from, because you just have to remember every single bit of the level. So in every single new bit of the level, you just die a bunch because you gotta, you know, see everything that there is to see. But I think this one was the hardest, and I'm not really sure why. It was just kind of the trickiest to figure out, because there's a level up, a level left, and a level down. And this is the level down. But it seemed like the up one was the easiest, the left one was like the second easiest, and the down one was the hardest. So I did them in reverse order, which I was very happy about when I figured that out. And I know that these, the energy zappy light ball things, is what I'm naming them now, were really hard to get the timing right on, because they're not all the same. And they expand so fast that whenever I made a move forward, I was always second guessing myself and be like, oh god, is that right? I don't know if that's right or not. But I eventually got the hang of this one after a while and realized what I was supposed to do, because I couldn't reach that little last platform for the longest time. And just like all the other crystals, destroying this destroyed one of the energy tube things. I don't know what these are called, but they're just sucking energy from places. And this level was more about, not necessarily timing, but strategy. The down level was more about timing, and this one was about just strategy of everything that you needed to go to. But, well, actually, I take that back. This one's also about timing, too, but for a different reason. And, you know, for a different aspect. But I managed to get this one. That little bit right there was actually quite tricky until I got to this part. And this part, you know, confused me for so long because I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And I didn't know where I was supposed to go. I mean, everything eventually kind of worked out, but it took a while to really at least know the path on this one. But it definitely took me a lot less time than the first puzzle or path. I kind of want to call it both. But right there was the moment I figured out, oh, I'm supposed to just wait for all the things to line up in the proper pattern. But my hands were thoroughly sore from the last level, so this one was a little numbing to play, but after everything, I think it had a decent payoff, and right now, you know, I was just, you know, getting and noticing all the times and noticing all the different strategies that you can do and how they're all lined up together. But yeah, this one was just kind of more of a waiting game. Yeah, so I take back what I said before. This level was more of a waiting game of getting the right moment, whereas the first level I did was about not necessarily the same type of timing, but knowing when all the little zappy balls were going off, because that's what everything was focused around. And if you got all the little zappy guys in the proper order, you were pretty much home free. And then this one was the third one, but I noticed that there was a little guy over here that I could get. And a lot of the extra guys, the triangles and people that you could get, were pretty out in the open for this level, or for this whole, you know, scenario. And I think that's because it was kind of a much more challenging level. And this was by far the easiest. It took me only like a few attempts, but it was that first kind of unorthodox bit that I did where I ran all the way to the end and kind of ran and jumped over from who knows where. I don't think I was supposed to do that, but it sure made the entire process a lot easier for some reason, because it got rid of the entire first bit. And I just wanted to, right now, look at how much more I was dealing with, because I didn't know, but it turned out I was kind of surprised that I was almost at the home stretch, but it was also a lot easier. Or a lot more simple than I thought it would be. It was just making sure I knew where all the scanners were facing. Now this one, up here, the double one, I was quite concerned with because I didn't know how it was gonna go. But just like all the other puzzles, they have a small, you know, time window of when everything was supposed to be going on. And now here's a cutscene that explains everything else.
After everything Nox had endured to reunite with his friend, their reunion was bittersweet. Luxana had been deceived all along, and now that she had played her part, Eternium was set on doing away with her. Their plan had been set in motion years ago. They wanted to find a way to recreate the divine artifacts and turn them into weapons for their own benefit. To do so required one of the divinities on their side, and Luxana was their best chance. Since the Kamloops' arrival in Numbra, Luxana had been left out, shunned even. The people blamed her for not being able to bring light to their new homeland. A goddess of light, powerless in a land shrouded in darkness? A spy living among the Kamloops approached her with an offer. Eternium could bring light to Numbra if she agreed to do as she was asked. Desperate to win back the trust of her people, she accepted and was led to believe that her actions would help the Kamloops prosper. Laudable intentions that led to a disastrous end. Before she collapsed, she urged Nox to pursue Eternium's leader through the portal. He was on his way to the Celestial Palace to get rid of the divinity's spiritual bodies. The boy jumped straight into the portal, and from that point on, I could feel a cold and terrible darkness enveloping him.
And so that final cutscene really explained a lot of how it turns out that Luxana was just tricked the entire time. And she was so desperate to, be in the people's eye again, or be in the public's eyes again, as a positive figure, and not be shunned or disliked because nobody understood what was wrong. They blamed her because they didn't understand why she couldn't fix everything. She was the goddess of light. Why can't she fix the darkness? But they didn't understand, or at least in my mind, they didn't understand the fact that, yes, she's the goddess of light, but in a world that only has darkness, she doesn't have any power to begin with. She has nothing to actually use because the entire world is something she can't use. She can't use darkness. She can't fix that because she's the goddess of light. She can't bring light from nothing. She has to, use it or control it or somehow, move it around, kind of a thing. I don't know. But at least, that made sense to me for a lot of things. And I understand kind of why they would shun her, but I also understand why they shouldn't have shunned her. But it was a very interesting. That was a very interesting cutscene that really tied a lot of loose ends. And yeah, I hope you guys liked this very unconventional video. But I shall see you guys in the next episode.